Okay, listen, guys. Before we get into it, we got to do the whole thing where I got to ask you to like and subscribe and support the channel. It's football season. It's kind of officially here. We're entering August. If you're watching this, tomorrow is August. And it's probably August if you're watching this. And we got preseason coming up. And I have been on vacation. And I don't keep up with the channel. I've tried to and I want to. But guys, I'm busy. Okay? And there's not a lot of news in July and in June, really. But there was one big thing that happened, and I was away, so I didn't get to do an episode about the trade. But I will get into the Mika Fitzpatrick and Darren Waller additions. But there's a lot of other. Hey guys, are falling over. Everyone, calm down. We're all just. It's been a minute. I got to get the rust off. But welcome back to the Mike Lenoci show, and I think we're gonna be doing this. We'll do the weekly recaps every game because I can't help it, and I got to release my frustrations after every game or my excitement. Either way, if you're with me on that one, this is the channel for you. And based off of everything going on, I think the last episode I put out, I was a little bit more optimistic, and the episode before that, I was like, this could be a disaster. And as the season approaches, I always do get a little excited, and I'll watch videos of like Tua's best throws or the best plays of the Miami Dolphins from last year, or I'll even go back 2 years ago or 3 years ago. No, nothing's going to compete to the 2023 season, right? 2024 seasons last year. 2023 season was so awesome. We got to 9-3, and then we lose that Tennessee game, but still, God, that Broncos game, it was just great. The 2023 season was great too. 2022 season was great too because of like the comeback game. McDaniel's first season with us, the comeback game against the Ravens was so awesome. Probably my favorite Miami Dolphins game ever, besides the Broncos one. But then 2023 was such a great year, and then last year was just rough. But we still went 8-9, which was pretty impressive with Tua not playing 6 of those games. So, you got to think. I think we lost. We went 1-5 in those 6 games. So, now let's get into this year. I think I said going in, I like our linebacker core. Our defensive line is exciting. Our offensive line, we don't know. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it. Yeah, it seems good. They're healthy. Daniels will be ready to play. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you guys follow this more, but I'm under the assumption that Daniels will be playing right guard, and our rookie will be playing left guard next to Patrick Paul, or is it the other way around? But either way, a young, faster O-line, a good running back trio, maybe 4 of them if they keep all 4. I like our wide receivers. And then, our biggest problem was our secondary. And I said this before. I go, this is very concerning. I don't know what's going to happen. And this was before we knew about the Jalen Ramsey trade, because I was like, we know Jalen Ramsey isn't going to be on the team, and I assumed that we were going to lose him and not get anything from it. And then the trade happened, right? We had the Mika Fitzpatrick trade for Jalen Ramsey. I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw it happen, because it happened slowly, and then then they added Jonnu Smith, which I was a little sad about, because I thought, why can't we just pay him an extra? Like, you're telling me he wouldn't have said yes to an extra $6-7 million? I thought they had good chemistry. I thought he was a big piece. And I still am a little sour of that one. But do I think that Jonnu Smith looked good because of us? Yes. It was his best season of his career at 31. But Jalen Ramsey for Mika Fitzpatrick, I think he's better. Yes, Jalen Ramsey right now is more of a Hall of Famer, a shoo-in for a Hall of Famer than Mika. But I think that Jalen Ramsey was good, but I mean, last year it wasn't as good, and I know Miko hasn't been as good as his previous years. Like last year, he struggled a little bit too, and I think a fresh start for both of them. So I think is good. I mean I think Jalen Ramsey will make some big plays in Pittsburgh, and I think Mika will make more big plays in Miami. And I don't think if you guys remember this, I don't know if you guys are younger or older, but like when we traded Mika from the Miami Dolphins, the next 2 to 3 years, it was like every other week he was making a play that was on Sports Center's top 10. It was just a top play. He was scoring touchdowns, and you were just like, oh, imagine if we still had him. It was rough. And I believe that, watching his press conference, he's very mature. He has a leader alpha mentality, the way he talks. I believe he's got something to prove. It's kind of a contract year for him. Like he wants an extension, and he probably is fighting for one more big contract. I think we can get a lot out of him, and having him as a leader in the secondary will be huge, especially when our secondary is completely different from last year. I think that's a bonus. So I was happy about that, and I thought we kind of won the trade. If not, it's equal. And then was sad about the tight end, but then we get Darren Waller, which you're like, what is this? He put out a rap video. By the way, can we admit that song that, I mean, I only saw a clip of it, but it had a flow, and I love rap. I'm late 90s, early 2000s rap. That's my era. I love Nas, Eminem, J. Cole. I'm not saying he's up there with those guys, but like, it had a flow. I liked it. He had some swag. I liked it. I liked it better than Damian Lillard. I thought he had some swag. Liked it better than that. Better than Arian Foster's rap career. I like all of them. I think all of them have flow. They're just athletes, and they don't, people think it's weird. But Darren Waller had a flow. And then I watched his interview, and again, he seems like in a good place mentally. He's tall. He's in shape. I think ideally, can this guy get you 500 yards and 7 touchdowns? Yeah. And that's all you need. And if you're asking yourself, well, what do you mean Jonnu Smith had over 1,000 yards and like 8 TDs last year? Yeah, because Tyreek and Waddle bombed. They had off years. It was awful. You got to expect Tyreek and Waddle to have that year they had in 2022 where it was like, oh, 2 of these guys are in the top 5 receiving after 4 weeks. Like, Waddle's got to get over 1,300 yards, or he's just, like, not worth the money. He's got to have a great year. And I'm not saying he's a bust or anything. He's got, he's been in the league 4 years, 3 of the years over 1,000 yards receiving, a couple of those years over 1,200 yards receiving. He's going to have a consistent good career, and maybe if he stays with our team, he'll be one of the leading receivers in Dolphin history. And that would be cool. But, I don't want an 800-yard season. I don't want a Chris Chambers version of Jalen Waddle. I want him Pro Bowl caliber. If this is Tyreek's last year, Jalen Waddle has a couple years of 14, 15, 1,600 yards, and he's considered a 1. And I think it starts with, like, picking up where he picked up in 2022 and 2023, where you're like, oh, he's easily getting over 1,000 yards, and maybe he's getting a 10-touchdown year, at least 7 or 8 from him. So we need that. And then you want Tyreek to, at the minimum, get 1,300 yards receiving. Minimum 1,300 yards receiving. So if you're getting that kind of production from those 2 guys, you're not going to get 1,000-yard receiving yards from a tight end. It's just like the ball, there's not enough to go around. Yeah, is there a world where there's been 3,000-yard receivers on a team? Sure. And if it could happen, it's with the athleticism of Darren Waller. But again, I don't think he's going to be used like that. I think he'll be a red zone threat, and I think he'll be an option at times for Tua, but they're going to gradually get him going. I don't think he'll be seeing as many targets in the first few weeks. I think that down the stretch, we will be utilizing him more. But right now, you got the wide receiver grab from the Titans. Like, maybe he's getting more reps. Achane's going to be getting 50 to 70 receptions maybe this year with the running back room we have. So I like I'm fine with the way all that trade went down, and I'm happy with that. That being said, we move on to what we were concerned about from the beginning. There's two big concerns. We're like, is the O-line going to be good enough? Did we improve it enough? I like the guard we drafted, and Daniel's assuming, he's coming back from Achilles. Maybe he's stronger. He's better. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. And maybe the reports are coming out and it's good. But the other concern was like, we don't have cornerbacks at all. And I'm a little confused because there's like some great veterans out there right now. And I don't know what's going on. Even someone at safety like Justin Simmons. Imagine having him back there with Mika Fitzpatrick. Maybe he's not as good, but like just having that leadership back there. And then you have the Lions guy we picked up. And then the Jets guy, Davis, who walked off the field today in boots. So that's a third injury there after we found out in the past week that we lost Davis and Cater. Cater's out for the year, which I believe he was maybe our starting nickel. Whatever happened to Nick Needham? Can someone comment on that? Did he go somewhere else, or is he still on the team? Because remember, he was a practice squad guy that made the team like Cater Kodu, and kind of didn't really show up last year because he got injured the year before, and then last year wasn't the same. And is that maybe because of the injury? I don't know, but like, is he still around? I'm not sure. I liked him. I liked his heart, but you remember, he was having a good year and then got hurt in 2023. He was the beginning of the injuries. It was him, and then the next week was Phillips, and then Chubb. It was just a disaster. Now, our secondary completely depleted. We added these two guys. I don't know really anything about them. One's from the Raiders, one's from the Bengals. I think they're both leaders if I'm checking my sources. Mike Hilton, he's going to be a starting nickel corner from what I've been told from my source. Mike Hilton, and he was a starter the past 6 years. And he was a captain for the Bengals and Steelers. That's what I'm told. So, I don't know. I know it doesn't get me excited, but that's what's said. So, he's our starting nickel as of today. Cam Smith, is he a bust? Is he a disappointment? We're about to find out. I don't know. Duck is our other starter. It's not exciting, but if our linebackers, our outside linebackers, our rushers are getting to the quarterback, and Phillips and Chubbs and Chop Robinson and Zach Sealer and Grant, and they're creating havoc, and then you have, leading it from the middle, like you have a great middle linebacker core. Maybe that's good enough to overcome the shortcomings of not the best cornerbacks. I don't know. But bad news with all these injuries already, especially before even preseason starts. So then that goes into, like, why are we not going after someone like, I know he's old, but Stephon Gilmore or Asante Samuel Jr.? Like, is there something I don't know about them? I think they're healthy. I understand they're on the back end of their career. Maybe, like, it's like maybe they have a couple of years left, but, like, sometimes, like, that's good enough. Like, why are they not getting picked up right now? Like, why are we not picking up the phone and being like, we'll take Asante Samuel Jr. and Stephon Gilmore? Imagine having those two vets in the secondary, even if they're playing 20 snaps with Mika Fitzpatrick. Wouldn't that, like, make you as a fan a little bit more excited? Wouldn't, am I missing something here? Or is it like they want too much money? I mean, like, we're the team that needs them. That I feel like I know the media and some of the people, like, they're out on us right now, which I like that. I think I talked about, I like people not believing in us right now. But, like, I feel like we're in a window of, like, we got to win now. Some of the media people are like, it's a mini rebuild for the Dolphins. It's like, not really. Like, they got to win this year or they're blowing it up. At least from the top down. we probably have Tua for another year. But if Tua doesn't stay healthy or win big games this year, then you're out on Tua. Because then the new young guys are going to come around. Like Caleb's going to end up being good. You got Daniels in Washington. There's only so many quarterbacks that can be like great quarterbacks. And you already got Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Herbert's in that world too. If like he doesn't win a game this year in the playoffs, then people are gonna be like, yeah, he's good, but like he's not the answer. If C.J. Stroud isn't like excellent this year, then you're like, yeah, he's good. Then you're in the group with like Tua and Herbert, and it's just like it's nothing. And Jared Goff, like it's not, even though he went to a Super Bowl, but it's like you got to do something. At least Lamar Jackson won MVPs. So even if he doesn't win in the playoffs, you're never going to be like, we're over him. Like, you were never over Michael Vick. He never won anything in the playoffs. But, like, you're not over it because they were MVPs. So, then all of a sudden, like, if Tua doesn't have a good year, then, like, Drake May might be good. You know what I mean? Like, your window for, like, everyone believing in you, this is the last year for Tua and Herbert. And those type of guys. So, I feel like this is you have to win this year. So why wouldn't you go get those vets who have been on Super Bowl teams, or Asante Samuel Jr. has been on a playoff team, some winning teams, winning cultures, but Gilmore's. I mean, he's been on. Come on, I would love to add that guy. I mean, unless he's asking for $15 million, I don't think he is. So I'm a little confused about that. But again, I'll always think about our schedule up top, man. There's no reason we can't go 6-2. So we can start off hot. So that's why I'm more optimistic about this season. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you guys have answers about those guys and like why are we not going after them? And I know we freed up some salary cap stuff. So I'm a little confused on that part and a little like nervous because you got to assume there's going to be some more injuries. Every team's going to have them. And right now we're getting the bad luck ones. Maybe we're getting it first and maybe we can start the season healthy. Listen, the only thing I want us to just cross our fingers, if Jalen Phillips gets hurt, that's his career and that's sad. And it's deeper than just being sad because it hurts our season. It's sad because it's a guy who's probably 26, 7 years old, and this is his dream, and his dreams are over because you don't get another chance after that. And Bradley Chubb, too. I mean, if he went down, nobody's going to really give him another chance. He would be an aging linebacker in his 30s. It's just like that would be it. So there's things to like hope for that they at least stay healthy for 1 year so that they can still prove themselves to be reliable playmakers in this league. And we have that with Tua. It's like if Tua gets hurt again, likely he is a journeyman or ends up retiring, and it just isn't the guy. He's like I know people are already thinking he's not the guy, but still. Waddle's got to have a healthy year. Like I said, he's got to have a good year. Not only a good year, he's got to kind of stay healthy. But that's what's going on. And then there's another thing going on. There's like something in the media's like Tua is not sold on Tyreek's return. He has to prove himself. It's like that shit was taken out of context. Like I watched it. Tua was like, yeah, well, not everyone comes back just from after saying that and it's open arms. He was making a point. He's not saying that it isn't better. He was just saying, like, yeah, of course Tyreek had to work on himself and come back. And he wasn't speaking for himself. He was like, with other players, maybe it rubbed them the wrong way. But it's not a thing. It's not a thing that, like, the media loves to grab onto anything and be like, did you hear what Tua said about Tyreek? They haven't accepted his apology yet. That is not the way it came off. Tua was just like, well, yeah, what he said was annoying. But, yeah, you're not going to, like, just say, yeah, no big deal. We forgive you. And to be honest, they probably did. It's Tyreek Hill. He's a bonehead. But he's so good, you're going to accept it if he shows up on day one and he's running routes so well that he makes Kader Kodu tear his ACL. That's who he was covering, by the way. That's how good Tyreek is right now. He's juking people into injuries. So he's 100%. You're going to kind of forgive him when he shows up every day and he works hard, okay? And he's going to be a leader. And we're talking about that 2,000-yard thing again. So that's a little taken out of context. So let's forgive that. Another thing, I know people have heard about this Christian Wilkins thing. I have a little inside information. Most of it got out from the media. Wilkins has always been a little weird. You've seen the videos of him doing it. I remember when I did a stand-up show for the Miami Dolphins when they stayed here at UCLA. I got to do a stand-up show for the team. Tyreek wasn't there. Some of the players, not all the players went, but Christian was one of the ones who went. And I made fun of him for doing weirdly. I go, you go both ways. I've seen the videos of you doing dirty things. That kind of got a laugh. Like, we agree. And he goes, oh, man. And he came up and we dapped each other. And he was like, funny stuff, funny stuff. But he's always done weird stuff. And then this Raider thing, I heard that he wasn't recovering from his injury well. I have a friend that works with that organization. And I heard about his injury thing. This is early on. That his rehabbing wasn't going well. So that's a real thing. And I think that maybe there's a disagreement about how he was going to rehab and whether his camp wanted to or their camp didn't want to do it that way. Kind of like how Kawhi Leonard with the Spurs ended. You remember like he was dealing with some injuries like he always has. But the Spurs were wanting him to do a certain type of rehabbing, and he was like, that's not what me and my team want to do. We're going to split ways, and he went to Toronto, and the rest is history. I think that was what was going on with Wilkins. But then Wilkins, his little kissing thing in the locker room, they're reporting it was like the forehead. It's not the forehead. I was told it's the mouth. He deliberately kissed another guy in the mouth, and it was Butler. One of the Raider guys is from what you're seeing who spoke out on did a press conference. Butler had some choice words, which I thought was funny that no one picked up, and people are thinking it's Max Crosby. It's not about Max Crosby. It's about Butler, the other defensive tackle who is with him and next to him all the time. So I've heard that it was an actual, like, he tried to kiss him in the lips. So I don't know. Take what you want from that, but that might rub players the wrong way. Obviously, even if he's joking and being silly about it, which I think is funny. If you like, I think pretending to, and I'm not saying whatever. I think it's funny if he was doing it to be funny and not intentionally sexually assaulting him. Like obviously, if he was really like being creepy, then like that's not right. If he was doing it as a bit, I'm all about being bits, but I don't think NFL or football culture has accepted being gay as bits yet. Where like if I'm a comic and another comic and we do that, it's like, you're being funny. I don't think that's going to fly in an NFL room. And if I think that's what he was doing, it's just a not reading the room situation. But if he was actually doing it because he made a move on him, then that's inappropriate and he can't be doing that. That being said, is there a world where he comes back to Miami? Yeah, I think so. I think first it's not going to be a while because I think this guy's still dealing with an injury. 1, 2, nothing is going to happen with Wilkins until they find out if he gets his money or not, because nobody wants to pay for him. But if the Raiders have to pay Wilkins, then other teams can get Wilkins for the minimum because he's already getting paid the $28 million that he's owed or the $30 million he's owed to the Raiders. So if the Raiders don't have to pay him, then that's a different question. Then people are going to make him want to do a physical and know that he's 100% before they give him a contract, because they don't know how he's going to play or how his foot is. But if he gets paid from the Raiders, then yes, then I think he can come back to the Dolphins. If he doesn't get paid from the Raiders, there's no way he comes back to the Dolphins because we don't have the money to afford him. And I would assume his camp is going to want at least $15 million, even if it was for 1 year, to prove himself. And I don't think we can afford that right now. But so it's all just waiting to see if they win this lawsuit. because the Raiders are trying to say that they don't have to pay him because of the injury. So we'll see. Other than that, I'm excited. I do think that we can start off hot, man. Look at the first 8 games. 6-2 is realistic. 8-0 is unrealistic. But it could happen. You don't have to beat the Chargers and the Bills. I have 2 losses in those first 8 games. Chargers and Bills. But all the other ones could be wins. Now, assuming that those other teams don't do well, that are bad. Ooh, okay, I didn't know this. Look at the spreads right now. As of today, Indianapolis -1. And I think it's because the owner died, right? If he doesn't die, I don't think it's -1. But with a dead owner that they're going to probably honor and do a moment of silence and all that stuff they would do, only -1? I think it feels like people think that we're going to win. I think that line changes as we get closer. We assume Daniel Jones is a starter, new system. I don't know. I mean, I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. I want him to have to do well, but not against us. But I think realistically we should win that game, and I think we'll be favored by that by the time the game starts. I think so. Week 2, only -2.5. It's too far out, but against the Patriots at home, a little disrespectful. Week 3, Bills -8.5. They just really do not believe in us. Then the Jets, Jets they have us -5.5 at home. So I don't see why we can't be 3-1. Would you agree? Man, Jets. So everyone thinks the Jets are going to be really bad. Panthers were 1.5. I don't see why and that's a road game. That would put us at 4-1. And then we have Chargers at home. Chargers are favored -1.5. That could also change. That could be a game we win too. You could be 6-1. But let's say we have a loss. We're 5-2. And then we have the Browns, 6-2. 6-2, man. That's all I'm saying. 6-2. If not 7-1, then you go to the Falcons, 8-1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games. There's a crazy chance we could be 7-1. Realistic chance of 6-2. Frustrating would be 5-3. 4-4 would be a disaster. There's no way they don't go at least 4-4. How about that? Is there a world where we're 7-1 headed into the Ravens, Bills, and Commanders? Yeah. Yeah, there is. Why not? The Saints are going to be the worst team in the league. And then imagine if we start 6-2 and know that the remainder schedule, you have the Saints, Jets, and Patriots again. I'm betting the over, man. I think our is 8.5 is the win total for the Miami Dolphins. How are you not taking that over? I feel like that's easy money. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm excited. I'm getting a little bit more optimistic. Obviously not about the secondary, but like, hey, man, keep up. Then, maybe we have to win 34-28. Let's go. Every episode I end with a sneeze. It's just how I do it. So, that's how you know the episode's over. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm excited. I'll see you guys in next week or in a couple weeks maybe. After preseason starts.